everyone. Welcome to the Joyful Leader in You channel. And again, let me share what the Joyful Leader in You is about. Our vision is to empower 100 million high-performing C-suite leaders to amplify income and impact, expand influence, and create global change by turning dreams to reality, and to be the mentor of future leaders. And as the Joyful Leader in You, the book that I wrote, I'm very honored today to invite an amazing guest to be with us, as you can see. But before I invite her, I want to give you a little bit introduction about who she is. I know many of you already knew her, and when you jumped to this channel simply because you couldn't wait to hear from her, so am I. I can't wait, guys. But again, Dr. Morley Muse is renewable energy engineer and co-founder of iSTEM, a social enterprise supporting women in STEM and STEM education, employment, leadership, and entrepreneurship. She won the 2022 Emerging Leader in STEM Award for Women's Agenda. Wow, what a huge achievement. Congratulations. And also is a past member of the ETSI Elevate Advisor Group. She has a lot of roles as well, guys. She's a mom, she's a wife, she's a faithful person, she's beautiful soul. We met each other not very long time ago, but seems like we know each other for ages. So I'm so honored to welcome Dr. Morley Muse to be with us here. Welcome, Dr. Morley.
Thank you very much, Christy. Thanks for having me, and thanks to everyone tuning in today.
That's awesome. So Molly, I want to ask you, number one thing is, what's your biggest passion? And I think that's very important to let the audience know for those who don't know you yet. Yeah.
There are two things that I care about in the world. The first one, I guess, is climate change, renewable energy, mainly because I believe that we have a responsibility to take care of our environment. Otherwise, then there will be no place to call home for future generations. So, which is why climate change, sustainable energy is something that is very close to my heart. I guess the other thing that's close to my heart, I love people, right? I think that as a parent, if you have 3 kids, or even if you have 100 kids, something is not right with one, you would do whatever you can to get that one up to speed. So, which is why I'm passionate about gender equity. Not because I do not like men.
Of
I
course, you
love
like when you marry the man.
I love the men in my life, and I love people.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, I do not have any girl child. I've got just boys. But I think with the way the world is previously, as of last year, it was estimated that it would take 131 years to get to gender equality. This year, we've for some weird reason we've done something wrong, and it's now 134 years. So gender equity is something that I'm passionate about, and I do that through my work at iSTEM Co and my work at there, mainly because in that science, technology, engineering, maths field. So I'm really passionate about climate change and gender equity in STEM.
Wow. Amazing. That's so good. Thank you so much, Dr. Molly. When you say about the gender part, I do want you to share because I know as a woman, as a female, you're also leader and you're also in the C-suite wearing very heavy responsibilities, not just as a mom and wife, but also in where you are. The problem is right now there are many women outside there, maybe whoever's listening. If I have a very creative question, imagine if you're giving a magic microphone that allows every woman in the world to hear you for 30 seconds, what will you say to them?
Okay, there's a poem called Our Deepest Fear by Marianne Williamson. A lot of people think that it's, I think Nelson Mandela during his inauguration speech recited that poem. It's one of my best poems. It goes to say, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light and not our darkness that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who are we to be? Fabulous, brilliant, but who are we not to be? And then it goes on to say, you're a child of God, your playing small does not save the world. And
Wow.
there's nothing enlightening about shrinking so other people won't feel insecure. That when we shine our lights, we also give other people the permission to do the same. So I think as women, most times we've been in a culture where we've been told to be, when you share your passion or when you air your views, you're being arrogant or you're being too loud
So true.
or too this or too that.
Yeah.
But if I had that microphone
Micro.
that would be so loud that every woman and every person can hear it, what I would say is don't shrink because of other people. Because if you shrink, you probably, there are other people waiting for you to see your light so they can light their own light. And when you shrink, you not giving them an opportunity. In a very simple way to put it, and I'll give the credit of this to my husband because it's actually his quote. He has this quote that he said that if your candle light does not go out in the turbulent wind, it's going to then leave to light others. And it is true. If you have your light, and regardless of what storms may come, in your life, I have had like my fair share of like very, very, I've been through very challenging times in my life, right? I've lost 4 family members in 12 years and
Mm.
doing all of that, trying to complete my PhD and all of that. But this quote really, really resonated with me in my very darkest hours. Because in life, we all go through those
Yeah.
times. But
Yeah.
don't let your candle go out. Because
Wow.
whatever it is, when you come out of it, you would have enough light to then light other people. And then the world lights up. And
Yes.
then it's
Beautiful.
beautiful. So don't dim your light for any other person.
Wow, what are the best
Shine.
advice ever to all the women outside there? And Dr. Molly, this morning I got another coach client that we talk about her life, and she shared with me as well. She's 56 years old, and she said the exact same thing about her story, that what she learned is she was judged by many people and she was doubting herself because everybody's doubting her. Like you said, when people judge you, you shouldn't be doing that. And one story quickly share before I go back to the questions to you is she shared that on this one she worked for the environment, and then the boss one day she want to share her opinion, and the boss said, shut up, you don't know anything. He said that to her, and she was really upset. She was crying for a long time in that workplace. Is very toxic and stuff. And then what she shared as well is she didn't choose to shrink, which is exactly what you just said. Instead, she kept going and didn't give up. And at the very end of the story about that is she started to become the only one. This one thing happened in between, something that she checked carefully, and that avoid to probably a loss of millions of dollars. And then that moment, the boss said to everyone, guys, in the future, if she doesn't check, you cannot go through. And she became most respectful person in that company because she didn't give up. So, Dr. Molly, I think you have even powerful story you want to share, because I heard a little bit when we were chatting. But do you want to share maybe a little bit about what were you suffering and how did you conquer, in between? What is something carrying you and stuff, so that you can encourage the women or anyone who's listening outside there? Thank you.
I think sometimes the places where you experience the most challenge, that's actually your call in life. There's a reason why you have been chosen to go through that kind of challenge. So for me, I started my PhD 3 weeks after having my first son. I have three boys now. On one side of the journey, 3 years into the journey, while I was trying to wrap up my experiments, I lost my sister, my eldest sister. I had already lost my mom before then. So that was very hard because my PhD it was like every PhD is challenging, right? But then there was a lot of like lab and field components to it. Each experiment I did would take like a month to 3 months to complete. So going through that and then going through a loss was very challenging. And somehow 2 months before my thesis was due, I lost a second sister, and this was in the heart of COVID. It was very challenging. It was so challenging that it felt like someone was pulling off the carpet from under my feet, and I didn't know what was happening. But something kept me going. I got to the point that I was like, God, why am I going through this? Why is this happening? And all of that. And I had a mental picture of a seed. Now, when you plant a seed underground, all the seeds sees is darkness. There is no light underground, right? It's completely dark. All the seed feels is heat. The seed feels suffocated. It feels uncomfortable. But if that seed is placed in such a way that it receives the right amount of sunlight and water, the seed doesn't have to do anything. All
Yeah.
the seed needs to do is just to stay there.
Just be a
And
seed.
one day, and just be a seed, right? And then one day it will just see, wow, it's not dark in here anymore. And then it says that it's sprouted. So when I had this picture, I knew that I literally locked it in my heart and I knew that I was going to sprout again. How that was going to happen, I didn't know.
Mm.
But I just kept that picture in my heart. And you know what that picture did for me? It gave me hope. And hope is something that is a very powerful force
Yes.
that we must never let go of. You know how in English they say a glimmer of hope? For you to have hope is because that thing is there.
Mm.
So if you can see every invention, everything that we've created in the world today was first of all an idea in the mind before it was created. So don't give up on those ideas in your mind.
Mm.
So I had that idea very strongly in my mind that I would finish my PhD. How? I didn't know, but I knew that whatever happened, I was going to finish that degree and
So
I was
good.
going to finish and finish well. So I kept hope alive. And then the other thing about hope is faith. Like when you see a ship, right? The ship has this long rope and then it has the anchor. And the rope goes to the anchor and then it stays still. That's how
Yes.
it's set on
Yes.
the shore. Yeah. So that's a good picture of faith and hope. Hope is already there calling you out, and your faith is the rope that you take to hope, to anchor. So pretty much your faith is what takes you from here to there, knowing that that hope is there in the future. So that picture is really what kept me going. And one day I woke up and I wasn't feeling sad or depressed anymore, which was strange because my mom was still dead, my sisters were still dead, and a lot of things were still happening, but
Mm.
I felt a renewed
Peace.
sense of
Yeah.
purpose. Then coming out of all of that, I worked in construction post PhD. At the time, I was pregnant with my third son. That was very challenging, working in such male-dominated environment. Not because the work was difficult, the job itself was quite easy. It was an environmental senior site engineer role, but the environment wasn't very welcoming for women. That's how I'll put it. And I'm one of those people that I hate complaining. So if something comes your way, maybe the universe or however you want to put it, some people would say God or whatever they want to say, is actually telling you that it's something that you should take care of. And that's exactly what I did. So I quit my job and then I started iSTEM to create opportunities for other women. So we do a lot of work around research, consulting, and recruitment. But more than that, we saw the need to create a fair system of recruitment. And then I said to my co-founder, your PhD is in AI, and technology is good as long as you can use it wisely.
That's
Why
true.
don't we use technology to create a platform that completely eliminates recruitment bias for women?
Yeah.
That's exactly what we did. And we created a platform that connects women to the perfect workplaces using their personalities to match them to the perfect teams
Mm.
and roles. And it's just been amazing seeing so many women's lives being changed. And all that would never have happened if I stayed, you know, if I considered that dark place that I was in. But I chose that, I chose to be hopeful
Wow.
and I
Amazing.
didn't have to do anything. And one day I sprouted.
Be the seed. Thank you. That's an amazing speech. Thank you, Dr. Molly. So one other thing is it reminds me because on the Joyful Leader in your book, I also talked about, there are two things we need in life. One is faith. One is, I put it as goal. So it's the future. So the two things is, you're right. The faith is the thing that keeps us going, because we need faith to fuel us every day to believe what we can do, the things that we don't believe we can, when the faith will tell us you can do it. But then the hope is very important, the goal, because if you don't know where you're going, what's the point? You are feeling yourself, pump yourself to keep going. There has to be a why behind it, which is why that hope and the purpose, and also the thing that I put as a goal, is very important. And what's magical is when these two come together is, even if we lose faith, the hope will guide us. And then what guide us will pick up the faith on the way, along the way. But if we lose the goal, the faith will remind us, hey, you have the future because you did it before. Then you will pick up again your hope and your goal. So I really love that. And the beautiful things about us is sometimes we never talk about this before. And when you share, things just come all together, that like we're all aligned, the thing we're talking about. That's awesome. Thank you so much. So coming back to the Joyful Leading in You channel, because we also talk about leadership, Dr. Molly. Talking about leadership, do you have any of your own, thoughts and opinion about what is true leadership in nowadays? Particularly, Dr. Molly, particularly, we have different generations nowadays, and you are representing quite young. You're a very successful young entrepreneur, and especially from your perspective, especially what I know, people in my life, most of them are much older than me, right? And they are running leadership, but they're more, to be honest, they have headaches sometimes, because every generation has their own perspective, right? So would you mind sharing yours about, yeah, thank you.
Leadership. So I'll share what I shared talking to a journalist sometime last year with Future Women. So I was on the Future Women Leadership series with Helen McCabe, and she asked the same question of what I felt a leader is. I lead a lot of teams across different organizations. For me, what leadership is, a good leader, or my idea of leadership, I would say two things. Number one, a leader that I admire is the leader that solves a problem that does not necessarily impact them. So someone is solving a problem that, in fact, they probably would benefit from that solution not being there. Take, for example, someone like Abraham Lincoln, at the time, abolishing slavery. He didn't have to do that, right? Because he really didn't have to. He was a white male that was president that could benefit from that
So true.
system.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he decided to solve that problem, you know. So that's the leader that I admire, a leader that solves a problem that doesn't necessarily impact them. Because some people would say, oh, why should I be bothered about gender inequality? Or why should I be bothered about this climate change? I mean, oh, in 100 years' time, we'll all be dead and gone. So why should I be bothered about the earth? No, but a real leader is a leader that sees that problem, the problems of other people, gets so concerned and decides to do something about it, even when it doesn't directly impact them. The second kind of leader that I admire, and that's the leader that I always aim to be, and that's for me a true leader. So the first one is the leader I admire. The second one is a true leader. In my opinion, what leadership is, a leader that is able to sow the seeds of their idea in the minds of people is a leader that can never die. Because even when they die, their ideas would always live on. So as long as you can give other people the vision that is in your heart and they can run with it, then you've done a good job. And then you don't necessarily have to be there present with them, because you know that that idea lives on. So that's for me what I see leadership as. And
Wow.
these two principles guide how I lead.
Wow. That's beautiful. And it's very unique, the answer that you've got, because there are so many similar answers outside there. in the world about leadership, but the way you present it is completely different, and that's amazing. Thank you so much. Well, I do want you to share, Dr. Morley, about your dream, your future, right? For what you're doing right now, you have a passion, you have a dream you want to achieve, and I also know that right now you try to raise some funds for, for a beautiful future, because you have a dream that you want to achieve. Maybe tell us more about that dream. And, this channel can reach out to some guys who are watching right now. They will be like, wow, what you're doing is amazing. I want to be part of it. So just talk to them. Thank you.
So we have right now I'm working on a project called DARE. DARE stands for Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Retention. Retention is, I guess, the biggest reason why women are not being retained in the workplace. So DARE AI. So what DARE does is a lot of companies are losing out their teams, right? But they don't know why they're losing out their teams. So it's not that people are not getting employed, it's that they are not staying employed. So within the STEM industry, STEM sector in Australia, women make up 36% of university enrollment, but only 15% of actual workplaces, which is very sad. And we can't, STEM is very, science, tech, engineering, maths is very important and critical for innovation, for job creation. So it's not small, it's actually very big. So our platform, what it does, first of all, it uses technology to eliminate bias in recruitment. When a candidate comes on our platform, their name, their age, all of their about data that is completely not relevant is eliminated. What they are giving is a number. And then we ask questions to the employers, to the hiring managers, and to the women using the Maya-Briggs personality test system. What we want to achieve is one thing. We want to match women with their personalities to the perfect workplaces. When you think of Apple, for example, even though it's a phone, the Apple phone, when you think of Apple, what comes to your mind is minimalistic, tech, innovative. So for someone who shares those values, you see that they will thrive best in that environment, right? So every company has a personality, whether we like it or not, right? Because it's people who create those companies. And every person also has a personality. I might be an environmental engineer, but I might be more introverted than extroverted. So that means there are certain roles I'll thrive better than others. So this is what DARE has done. We use machine learning and artificial intelligence to understand our candidates, understand the roles, and then match them to the perfect roles so that from day one, we are solving the problem of attrition. Where we are at now, we have built the product, we've launched it, we've had companies use it, we have our database. We are now looking to expand our product and put some money into marketing, into daily like running of the business and to really scale
Yeah.
up. So we
Yeah.
are looking at investors coming into the business for $3 million for 15% equity in our company. And it doesn't have to be one investor, it can be an group of angels, syndicates, venture
This is
capital.
amazing. This
But
is amazing. Yeah.
it's one way to really put your mouth where your money is and to say, look, I want to be part of this change. I don't have to have a daughter to be part of this change. I don't have to be a woman to be part of this change. I don't have to have a wife to be part of this change. I just have to be a human being that sees that it is important for all hands to be on deck and to promote innovation. So I want to see that happen. So I want to be part of this change and reach out. I would love to have a chat with you.
Wow. Thank you so much. And guys, if you're listening, this is an amazing opportunity, not just about really, it's a great opportunity to have the equity because the future is certain. The future is
It's
already
STEM.
firm. Yeah, it's there. It's already happening. The
Yeah.
only thing is, yeah.
And interestingly, our total of like market size, because when someone gets science, technology, engineering, maths, it almost seems niche, but it's not niche at all. By next year, 90% of the jobs in Australia would need STEM skills. When you think about renewable energy, climate change, AI, cyber security, all of the innovative technologies are all STEM based. Agriculture, medical, health, they're all STEM based. So at the end of the day, immediate serviceable obtainable market size is sitting at almost $700 million with
Wow.
a total market size of $203 billion globally.
Wow.
So it is a $1 billion company. So it's an opportunity to not just invest in something that is good tech, where you're actually making impact, but there's also money to be
Yeah.
made.
Yeah, it's both making impact and money. I already see the future, and Dr. Molly, you're the future. And my daughter, one of my daughters, she loves to be a scientist and engineer like you. So I believe there's so many people who's watching right now. You got kids, they would love to be like Dr. Molly. And if that's your daughter's or your son's dreams, then support them. This is an amazing project, and the money and impact driving as well. Thank you so much, Dr. Molly. We do need to finish the call, but I really want to invite you again because this is too short, way too short. I do want to raise the voice here. I know there are so many women outside there, or even men. They're waiting for you to coach them. I want to ask, do you have a plan? Because I believe so many people are waiting. Hey, tell me, be my consultant, be my coach, be my mentor. So yeah, share with us.
I already have, like I already have like mentees, like I do formal mentoring. So I'm the current co-chair of Science Technology Australia Equity, Diversity and Inclusion Committee. STA is the peak body for scientists, technologies across Australia, connecting over 235,000 scientists in Australia. So I do a lot of professional coaching as time allows. I guess the other one that I work closely with is Diversity Council Australia
Mm,
on their RISE project. So yes, if you a business leader, I work with women in C-suite level and
yeah,
men too. I mean,
yeah.
coaching does not have gender. So if you are interested,
So
to
Dr. Molly is
understand how
open.
to scale your business, please get in touch.
Oh, that's awesome. Please, what's the best way to be in touch with you, Dr. Molly?
Oh, LinkedIn is perfect.
Wow.
LinkedIn is perfect. And if you look me up on Google, you'll find like a lot of information about the work that I do. And then you could also reach me via email, molly.muse@istemco.com. Or yeah, LinkedIn, email, perfect ways to reach me. And even like if you have like a burning question, you can also reach me via phone. Yeah, 0404 650 781. Yes.
Wow.
Let's
Just
talk
just
about business.
amazing. Thank you. Dr. Molly is always a giver, and I'm always touched by her soul. And what she does is truly impactful and significant. And she never does any of this for herself. It's all about the future and the next generations, and also to make a huge impact to the world and to what her passion is about, the climate change and the people. And this is truly inspirational. Thank you so much, Dr. Molly. And run a pause if you are there. And thank you. I look forward to seeing you again on the next podcast. Thank you so much.
Thank you for
Thank you.
having me, Christine.
Bye.
And thanks for everyone listening
All
to.
right. See you guys. Bye.